All right, let's go ahead and get started. We're chatty this morning, so just a couple minutes late start, but that's all right. We'll welcome everybody to the February 9th special events team meeting. We've got really fun applicants today to be here with us and have good conversations about. Couple of reminders for everyone. One, this is a public meeting. So if you are in the room, please make sure to use your mics so the system can pick up voices, especially with masks and these more aggressive surgical masks. You've got to be relatively close to the mic to get picked up. Also, just a good reminder to mind your P's and Q's since it is a public meeting. Second, we are still in a pandemic. So we have COVID protocols that we're asking all event organizers to take into consideration and are very, very appreciative to those events that are going the extra mile when it comes to that. Very dynamic situation still. I'm sure Central District Health will weigh in on that, but just know that we are not the ones that are making the rules. The pandemic's making the rules. So we're shifting fairly regularly just to make sure that we're keeping our community as safe as possible. So what we need today may be different than what we need tomorrow or what we need a month from now. And we'll do our best to communicate that as it happens. Right now, please do pay attention to the website as we've changed the language just a little bit on the vaccination requirement to follow CDC's recommendations, making sure vaccinations are up to date. And that's a different definition for every vaccine. So be mindful of that as you're doing your planning. I'm Maria Wague with the Office of Community Engagement at the City of Boise, and we'll go ahead and do introductions of folks around the room. Natasha, why don't we start with you today?
Sure. Good morning. I'm Natasha Fernie. I'm a program manager at Central District Health.
Vince Vergara, City of Boise Parking.
Conrad McDaniel, Republic Services.
Summer Altieri, Boise Parks and Rec.
Heather Lyle, Downtown Boise Association.
Jesse Tappert, Boise Fire Department.
Dwight Kirkland, Boise Police Department.
Jeff Nia, Boise Police.
Rachel Holford, City of Boise Emergency Management.
Kelly Frank, City Clerk's Office.
Jamie Heinzerling, City Clerk's Office.
Debbie?
What's that? Debbie White, 8th County Highway District.
Thank you. Leslie?
Leslie Pedroza, Valley Regional Transit.
Do we have anybody else online today?
Actually, yeah, Joe Deathman, Boise Fire Department Operations.
Thanks, Jonas.
And Sydney Murphy. Oh, there she is. Sorry.
Sydney Murphy with City Risk Management is online.
Great. Thank you, Sydney. All right. Our first event, our first two events are Allison Ibarro. Thanks, Allison. So we'll start with the St. Patrick's Day run and then move into the famous Idaho Potato Marathon. Thanks for being with us today, Allison. We enjoy it when you're here.
Hold the button. Okay. Yeah. Hi. It's nice to see
Yep.
everyone.
And maybe just a little closer
There
to
we
your
go.
mouth.
Is that better?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. And I think you guys have my presentation.
It'll take just a second for Greg to toggle it over to that
Okay.
machine. And then you have, let's see, the clicker and the mouse.
That one's not mine.
And if you go, on the bottom left and hover over the PowerPoint icon.
Wow. Okay, there we go. Okay. Oh my gosh, I can't see that. So let's see. Does that say presentation? I can't. Is that where to start from the beginning? Is that what it says? I can't read it. Oh, here we go. Sorry. There we go. Start from the beginning. Thank you.
Okay, so we are getting ready to do our St. Patrick's Day run, Saturday, March 12th, and it is a YMCA event. All of it is a fundraiser for the YMCA. Super excited to do this event. This was our first event that we canceled because of COVID back in 2020. So excited to be back out there in person. So we've been doing this for probably 15, 20 years. It's a 1 mile loop or a 5 mile or 5K. And we use the Julia Davis Park. So really it's just about bringing people out together to celebrate in a healthy way for St. Patrick's Day. We are hoping for 1,000 people this year in person. In the past, last year was virtual. We had about 500 people, but in 2019, when it was closer to St. Patrick's Day, we had a little over 1,000. So we'll see how we do this year. We're anticipating lots of people excited to come out. Currently, we have about 300 signed up. And then so we have taken the COVID guidelines into consideration for the event. So masks will be required at packet pickup on Friday when we hold that at Bandana Running and Walking. And that is where we are asking people to come to show us their proof of vaccination and or their negative COVID test. So they'll come in and show us that with their masks on. At that time, that's when we'll issue their bib number, which is their ticket into the event. We'll have some entrance points that we'll ask them to enter in at the park. We're not going to fence it, but we're going to have signs that this is where you enter so that we can control who's coming in. We are encouraging spectators, and those spectators also have to provide their proof of vaccination or their negative test at the event on Saturday. They can also provide it on Friday when they come to pick up, but they have to have their proof of ID with their vaccination and their test, and they'll get a bracelet. So that'll be their ticket in. On the event day, it is outdoors. We will encourage people to be physically distanced, and our packet pickup, all of our volunteers and staff will be masked as part of our policy for our team. And then we will have them spaced out at the tables and encourage them in line to stay apart. Masks will be encouraged until they are running. So they won't be required in the park, but they will be encouraged. And we will have them on site as well. And then we will have signs posted. We've been emailing and updating our policy along with the guidance from the city and CDC. So our full vaccination is the same as CDC's as well as the city of Boise. So to be fully vaccinated, and then we'll have signs posted. We'll have portable sanitation stations throughout the park during the event. And then again, we'll encourage masks. We will have, I think it's on the next slide. We'll have portable restrooms that will have hand sanitizing stations. We will have hand washing stations outside of those, as well as then the portable sanitizers around. The computers that people will check for results will be done by volunteers, and we'll turn them around so people can see them. They won't need to type, but we will have wipes and things to clean off the computers in case that becomes an issue. We won't be having water stations on the course this year. It's just too much of a risk with our volunteers, and we just want to make sure we can get through this first race. So we're just going to ask everyone to bring their own water. There'll be water at the finish line in bottles for everyone. And then we're also going to be, let's see here, we'll have tables set up for the snacks that people can pick up, but we're not encouraging them to stay. We're encouraging them to grab their snacks and head out. So let's see. We'll do a rolling start. So we start the 1 mile at 9:30. And so we'll give them about 20 minutes to go through the starting line. We don't typically start the 5K and 5 mile until all the finishers are through anyway. So that works out perfect. They'll be able to cross when they'd like. And we will encourage them to, as they're waiting, to have their masks on until they're spaced out. And then again, for the 5K, 10K, we'll give them another 20 minutes to kind of move through the line. We'll set up our pace signs so those faster people can be out front and get down the way, and then those walkers can be behind. And then we are asking, so families that come, all of their kids and everyone will be required to either have a bracelet or a band. At the finish line, we'll have masks available for when they cross, and encourage them through announcements to put their masks back on if they're not social distanced. And then we'll have whole fruit, bottled water, and some go-go squeeze pouches for people. And we're hoping to have bagels. So our volunteers will do the bagels. They'll hand them out. They'll have gloves and masks. They'll give them to the participants and they'll walk through. They'll use tongs. We'll see how that goes. They're already pre-sliced. We don't do any of the preparation there. So we just hand them out. And we'll have awards for people. They can pick them up. The results are pretty instant. So we won't be doing much but announcing the winners and telling them to come up and grab their stuff. So any questions about the COVID side of things? Okay. Okay, so this is the footprint of the event. We're in Julia Davis. We're so excited to use the band shell. It's been 2 years, so yay. So our DJ will be up on the stage after he'll have a setup at the band shell as well as at the finish line area. So he'll be up there. We're hoping to have some Irish dancers up there and just kind of kick off the season. And they'll be up there and then people can come through, grab their awards and just kind of walk down the other side of the stairs. We will have tents set up in the park just for volunteer check-in, for the food and for registration. We have possibly a couple vendors that will be there, but they're not selling anything or handing out any food. I believe Mandana will be there with some shoes for people to look at, things like that. And then maybe Go-Go Squeeze, but they'll be handing out their product. And then we do put in the portable restrooms. They'll come in and drop those on probably Saturday morning and then remove them Saturday afternoon. We do use the road for about, I don't know, maybe, quarter of a mile, not even that, as they run down towards the zoo and then they enter on the green belt, and it's really closed for the time that they're on that road. And with the rolling start, they usually just cross and hop onto the green belt because they'll be spaced out so much. So, but we use volunteers to just monitor that area and block just the one-way traffic into that side of the park. So. We use volunteers out on the course and we'll have staff as well to help with that. They cross the park road from the sidewalk over to the Rose Garden, to the road right between the Rose Garden and the park. And that's where we finish. So we'll have that all set up. We'll have volunteers along the course. The 1 mile will go over, it goes to the BSU footbridge and then they come back over the railroad trestle bridge. And then the 5K goes to the Broadway bridge and then comes back, goes to the other bridge in Ann Morrison and comes back. And then the 5 mile goes to the Orange Bridge and comes back on that railroad trestle bridge. So pretty simple and fun out there. Those are the signs that we'll have posted. We'll have those out about 7 days prior to the event. And it just lets people know that there'll be runners on the green belt and the time frame that we're out there. We're getting recycling and trash dumpsters delivered so that we don't have to pack it out. We'll have it right there on site. And those will be delivered on the Friday before and picked up the Monday after. And we're hoping to have them placed right behind the band shell where there's space for that. And I think that's it.
All right, thank you, Allison. And thank you for the attention to detail on the COVID protocols. Just one note before we go around the room. It looks like Ed is out sick today with Public Works, so he may have some additional follow-up for you offline, but is not here today to talk about things like trash receptacles. Okay. Let's start with Central District Health. Any questions?
Hey, good morning, Allison, and thank you so much for being so prompt with your paperwork. We have everything we need. So at this point, I do not have any questions or concerns. Thank you.
Thank you.
Allison, this is Vincent parking, and I don't have any concerns or questions for you. Sounds like everything is staying, off of roadways or any areas that require parking. So everything inside of the park, you guys have got that worked out. So we don't have any concerns or anything. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Allison.
Hi, Conrad.
Well, First of all, yeah, thanks for always being so prepared. I have everything I need on my end. Just want to double check with Parks that it's okay. Okay, so yeah, I'm good to go. I know Maria just said Ed Graves isn't here today, but did you have any questions for Ed that maybe I could answer?
No, I requested recycle bins and boxes, so I think we should be good. So.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
I think we have everything that we need from you guys. Do you need golf carts?
No, we don't use golf courses for this race. It's too cold. And I have reached out to Zoo Boise and to Boise Art Museum as well, and just let them know and sent them the plan and the parking area. So.
Awesome. Yep. And we'll send an email out too for that. So should be good. Yay.
I think you just answered my question. I'm with the DBA and I just, yeah. Did you say you did, or you're going to reach out?
So to the Boise Art Museum, but we haven't sent anything. I have posters if you'd like them for your, for your office, and I can send you a digital copy that you can send out. So.
Okay, a digital copy would be great. And that way we can get it in our e-news. Yeah, and just with the State History Museum right there, all the partners in the park, just make sure they know.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. I don't have a lot of questions either. It sounds like your tents are small, 10 by 10s and isolated. So that's not a problem. And it sounds like you're already thinking about maintaining the fire lane on Julia Davis Drive.
Yes.
So as long as those things are taken care of, Boise Fire has no major issues.
Awesome. Great. Thank you.
No, I looked at the past few years and didn't see anything on police staffing for this year. I'm assuming it's the same.
That's correct. No staff, no police for this one.
Okay, I think that's it for police.
Hi, Allison. It's great to see you. From the emergency management side, I just echo everything everybody said. Great job. Thank you for a very thorough presentation. Every time you put on an event, we always get everything we need in advance. Have everything that we need from our end. We'll go ahead and share the information of the schedule and the routes with the responders that may need to show up if something were to occur. So thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Hi, Allison. I don't need anything either. So if there's something that comes up between now and then, either from the team or yourself, please feel free to reach out to me. We'll be in touch.
Okay.
Ada County Highway District.
Hey, Allison, this is Debbie with Ada County Highway District. I don't think we're requiring a traffic control plan or anything. When you come up onto Broadway, you guys are staying on the sidewalk. Just obey the rules of the road and watch other pedestrians.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jonas, do you have anything?
Yeah, my question was, do you guys have taken consideration for like a medical plan? Are you going to put any EMTs on standby and any kind of medical booth for any kind of cuts, scrapes, anything like that?
Yes, actually, we have our lifeguards from the Y come as our first responders, and they will be at our DJ tent so that we can communicate over the PA system as well as with our radios if anyone needs any help. And the course is small enough that we can get people out to them if they need assistance. But we'll have those lifeguards and first aid supplies on hand.
Awesome. Another thing you might consider is the what's it called? Rachel, help me out with this. The app.
Mm-hmm. I believe it's the Pulse app. I have that, and
yeah,
all of our team has it as well.
Awesome. That's what I figured. Hey, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And Sydney with City Risk and Safety.
Hi, Allison. You already got us everything we needed, so we're good.
Great. Thank you.
Allison, I got to say, you make our life so easy. Great presentation. Really looking forward to a fun race day.
Yes, thank you.
These outside events are awesome.
Yes.
So let's move on to your next presentation, which is the famous Idaho Potato Marathon.
Yes.
In May, hopefully we'll be Central District Health tells me we will be totally done with the pandemic by May.
I'm going to hold you to that. Okay, let's go to this one. Okay, so yes, so this event is the famous Idaho potato and it is in May. So we're hoping we'll be in different situation, but we're planning as we are now. So we will be doing this in person and be offering virtual. We did find that we had a lot of community members that enjoyed the virtual option. So they're wanting to do it that way as well for this event. They live in different parts of the state and can't come. So it's been awesome to be able to offer that to different members of the community. So this will be taking place on May 14th. And these are just some of the statistics from the past few years. We've been doing this event for over 40 years now, and it's changed names a few different times. And we went from Great Potato to Famous Potato. And super excited. So many people come from around the country to come participate. So this year we're hoping for 2,700, maybe 3,000, depending on where we are with the pandemic. We'll see, but we are ready. So again, so this event is for everyone in the community, all abilities, all families, all community members are welcome to participate. And we do offer our financial assistance for anyone who is not able to pay. So we have that available as well. And then it just shows the partnerships between the YMCA and the Idaho Potato Commission, who's our title sponsor for this event. And you can't resist Spuddy. So Spuddy's there too. So again, we'll have our COVID guidelines that were set by the city at this time. We will be asking everyone to be masked at packet pickup in order to come through. And at that time to enter in to pick up their bib, they will have to show proof of vaccination or a negative test. Their bib number is their ticket into the event on Saturday. Packet pickup will be Friday. We may have it on Thursday, depending on how many people we have registered to keep them spread out and have more options to keep the lines down. But that way they'll have their bib to get in to the starting area and to get on the bus if they are going out to the full or half start. So that will guarantee that they've completed their COVID check. And if spectators will be able to come this year, but they will have to wear a bracelet. And again, masks will be highly encouraged and social distancing will be put in place. And staff and volunteers will be required to wear masks. We'll have signage. We've been emailing the participants that are already registered to keep them updated on how things have been changing. We'll do physical distancing within the area, and we'll have our portable sanitizing stations, and we'll have hand washing stations as well. And we'll have places that people can pick up masks if they need another mask available. Let's see here. Volunteers will be assisting with packet pickup, and so that way that participants aren't touching the computers or having to do multiple stations. We'll have everything ready for them to grab, and then they'll be able to head off to grab their shirts. We are going to be having vendors this year. We're hoping to have a potato bar, and Life's Kitchen will be hosting that. And Go-Go Squeeze will have their fruit pouches, and then Mountain Berry Bowls will have their food truck on site as well. So, and those, I believe that they're all, both Life's Kitchen and the Mountain Berry Bowls will be submitting their permits for that. And then we're hoping to have the big glow tater back at the event this year. So that will be on site. And then we have a couple of vendors that will be there with their 10 by 10 tents. We're hoping to have a few more come. It just depends on the space and whether we're still trying to keep everyone spatially apart. So we're definitely keeping a smaller footprint to make sure that we have less vendors if we're still requiring physical distancing. Oh, there's the picture. So for the course for this one, this for our security and our traffic control, we work closely with Boise PD and the Boise Motor Escort and Roadwork Ahead to create a safe route. Boise Motor Escort and then REACT, the volunteer committee, they help us out on the course with our intersections to make sure that traffic is flowing and that there's no issues, and they will they communicate with the police to make sure that they don't need any extra help, and they help our volunteers make sure they know how to manage the intersections professionally and keep traffic moving. So we will have volunteers and staff to help with that as well and communicate with those volunteers that are out there. So we'll have certain volunteers that are, and staff that are working with those volunteers to make sure that they have everything they need. And if they have any concerns, they know who to reach out to. We will have overnight security at Albertsons as we're having the footprint set up probably starting Thursday and then Friday. So we'll have overnight security in the area for that as well. The neighborhood plan. So because we have such a large footprint for our marathon, we send out, first we do notices out on the Greenbelt for two weeks before the event. And then we actually mail postcards out to River Run homeowners in that area and other areas that are impacted, where we come through on the Greenbelt that just, they use the road in that area, but it's not as many people, but it's still just courteous to make sure that they're aware of what's going on out there. And we'll be posting signs in the other areas that we're using the green belts as well, so that everyone knows that we're coming through. We are requesting dumpsters, and it's a 20-yard dumpster, not a 10-yard dumpster, but we're requesting the dumpsters from Republic dumpster for recycling and trash. So that's already in place. We have our own trash boxes, so we won't need any trash boxes, but we will be requesting the plastic recycle bins. So we already have that on our permit. And I am working with Albertsons to get permission for use of placement of the dumpsters. So we've work with them for that. And this is just where they're going to be. They're back in the far end of the parking lot, so they're out of the way and easy access for us. So the courses, so we have 4 distances all on one day. Our half and full start out at Lucky Peak State Park at 7 a.m. And we'll be using the parking lot out there for our starting area, and we get that all set up and work with Idaho State Parks on that. And then the 5K and 10K start at Albertsons headquarters off of Park Center, and the runners come out of the parking lot and merge onto Park Center Boulevard. And we have a rolling closure right there into the bike lane. They come out and then up over onto the Greenbelt and up over the bridge. It seems to work really well. This route we've been doing for, almost 4 or 5 years now, and it seems to be much better and safer for everyone. They don't use the whole part of Park Center, so it's been nice. And I have maps, but you all received those. And if you have questions about the course, I can send those to you. It's easier to see in person with a map on a PDF than up here. This is just our marathon start. We do put out restrooms out there. We have about 40 restrooms for all of our runners. And then the green line is where we start, and they run all the way around the park there. We do bus our participants out there that would like to come out on a bus. We keep traffic down. This is our route that we use for the buses. It's been pretty awesome. Everyone who gets on the bus is required to wear a mask. They have to have their bib to get on. And then once they get there, they can get ready for the event to start. So it's worked really well. This is for the 5K, 10K start out at Albertsons. So we start at the back of that parking lot. So it works out really well for us to get everyone staged back there. There's lots of space. We can line them up through the parking lot and then bring them through. And they come out onto the Park Center Boulevard and turn and head towards the bridge. Our finishers come with that red arrow coming from Park Center, from the east side of Park Center, and turn into it on the opposite side of the island to come in to finish. So they are separated as they come in and as they go out. So we do have half marathoners that are finishing when our 5K and 10Ks are starting. It's fun to see everyone cheer each other on. So, and as you see, there's lots of parking for the participants, which is great. We haven't had an issue with parking. And then this is our setup at this time. Our restrooms will be placed on probably Thursday. If we start packet pickup earlier and do it on Thursday, we'll have those placed on Thursday. If not, they'll come out on Friday. We will be fencing the area in and monitoring the entrances for this race, just because there are more than 1,000 people. So we just want to make sure we're catching everyone coming in. So we have 2 entrances and 1 exit. And we will post signs throughout about physically distancing. And then also we'll have one-way entrance into the area to pick up, and then they can travel out to grab their shirt and then exit the area. And then that was pack and pickup. This is the finish line. It's very similar. It just might get a little bigger depending on how many participants we have. This does show where we have our first aid and ambulance here, and the ambulance is able to get out at all times. It's right outside the start and finish area. We have the paramedics on hand the entire event, and then St. Alphonsus, well, they should be on site, and then our lifeguards are on site as well. And then they also are out on the course in golf carts to help monitor the participants that are out there. The tent, so Life's Kitchen will have a tent, and it's a 20 by 20, and they're inside there. It's not closed in. There's no sidewalls. We also will have a stage that will be there with a tent as well. And I believe it's Idaho. No, let's see here. Event Rents is who's doing our rental. We are hoping to have some tables for people to sit at this year to enjoy their baked potatoes. So we'll be having them out in the grass in that area. So at this time, they'll be placed out physically distanced from each other. So the tables will be out on the grass and separated. And then here is just, again, a footprint of what it looks like in the Albertsons area that we're using. Once the runners exit the starting area, we don't have the roads closed. We do have cones on the roads to slow the traffic down, but they are in the bike lane or on the sidewalk, depending on which type of racer they're being at the moment. So, and then this is just a highlight of some of our traffic plan. We are not using Highway 21. They've decided not to let us close the roads anymore, which is okay. At this point, the number of marathoners that we have has gone down in the past 3 years, so we're okay with that. It doesn't seem to be a problem to get all those people onto the Greenbelt in that area. We have about, between the marathon and half marathon, we have about, on a normal year, we have about 1,500. So this year, hopefully we'll have about 1,200, and we space them out enough that they don't seem to have a problem entering on and bunching up too much. And then we have the rolling closure on Park Center. As they turn on to Bagley Park right there, they're on the green belt for most of the part. And then we just make sure that we have cones placed out there. We use the green belts for most of the way. They do it out and back in Surprise Valley. And then the marathon and half marathon go through Barber Park and their neighborhoods, which we work with Ada County Waterways on for Barber Park. And then we try to use as many crossing areas, like crosswalk designated crossing areas already, so that we're not having to stop traffic. And I think that's it.
Again, thank you for the really detailed presentation. We should use this as a template. And I know our next presentation is going to be equally good as well. So let's just go quickly around.
Hi, Allison. Natasha with Central District Health. I would highly recommend to have a hand wash station in close proximity to the area where the tables will be located.
Okay.
Okay. Other than that, no comments. And thank you so much for being prompt with your paperwork. Thank you.
Allison, this is Vince, City Boise Parking, and no concerns from us.
Great, thank you.
Thank you again, Allison. I have your request here for a 20-yard trash dumpster, 8-yard recycle. And in your presentation, I kind of got the impression it was 20-yard each. Okay, and that's totally fine. I just want to make sure we're getting you what you need.
Yes. Yeah, if we can just update that to 20 for each, because we have more cardboard than we want to throw away.
That'd be great. Okay. And then we've been over this in the past, but it's always good to remind the placement of the dumpsters, they're going to be delivered on Thursday, which I'm sure is business day for Albertsons. We'll need that area roped off so people don't park there. If parking is an issue, the driver's going to have to get creative on where he puts it. So it's just best to have it coned off if they can afford to sacrifice those parking spaces.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, once you have that contract in place with Albertsons, if you could share that with me, that'd be great.
Yep, that sounds great. They're still not in the building, so parking should be okay. They're planning not to come back until the summer, I think, so.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Allison. Did you have any questions for me or Ed Graves?
No, I think we're good.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, again, you're awesome. I have everything I need, and I'll get you UV permits when you're ready.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think that's one thing I left off on the permit.
no worries. We'll get it.
I don't think I need anything. If you want to send me the letter, a copy, like a digital copy of the letter or postcard that you send out, that would be fine in case someone asks. But being downtown, I doubt that's going to happen. I think I'm good. Oh, great. Thank you.
Allison, thank you. Same as last time, pretty straightforward. I don't have any fire prevention concerns. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
No, don't have too much. I know we're meeting next week with ACHD and our motors sergeant. So I think after that, we'll have everything we need to get the labor agreement going.
Great, thank you.
I think we're meeting Wednesday, right?
Yes, yep.
Cool.
I just a quick couple questions and I'll wait for PD to have that conversation with you guys on that traffic control plan and then we'll be able to coordinate all of that from our end. If you could just keep us updated on the final count so we do know what your participant number actually is going to be.
Yes.
Could you elaborate a little bit on the medical plan? Because that will come up since this is a larger footprint. How are you guys going to be managing that?
So we have the ambulance and the St. Alphonsus team at the start and finish line for the 5K, 10K. For the full and half marathon, we bring our lifeguards out there and they're in a golf cart to follow those participants and be available for like the people who fall down and scratch their knees. And then we have the ambulance start out there as well. So they come out for that start and then once that road's cleared out of the park, they go to the finish line. So in case we have any critical emergencies, we have an ambulance on site.
Thank you. And when you say ambulance, who's providing that?
Injury care.
Injury care?
Yes.
Okay. And the only reason why we ask is because they don't transport. So while they're there, they can take care of the patient, but we still have to call Ada County paramedics to come out and do the transport. So that just helps us be able to understand what services that you have available to you.
Yes.
And then along that lines for your communication plan, how are you communicating with those on the course?
So the medical staff that's out on the course and the lifeguards, we all have a phone list and when they have phones and we do have radios that we use. And then all of the water stations that are out on the course as well they're instructed to call 911 if there's any emergencies, as well as notify our staff team. And they use their cell phones for that. And we have a contact list for each of those sites. So we do have those water stations out there as well with some first aid supplies. And they're about every 2 miles and then every 1 mile for the marathon course.
Great. Thank you. That answers the questions I had.
Nothing from me again, Allison, but once again, if you do need anything or have any questions, if things happen to change between now and then, we'll definitely keep you posted, especially in the COVID protocol area. So appreciate your due diligence and planning ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we'll go to our online folks, Debbie, with ACHD.
Hi, Allison. The only thing I still need the traffic control plan when you have that. Let me know where the volunteers are going to be at and where we're going to be blocking the road. So we have plenty of time, just whenever.
That sounds good. I should have that by our meeting on Wednesday and just be able to walk you through where all those volunteers are.
Perfect. Thank you.
Jonas, Boise Fire.
No, thank you. Rachel covered my questions. Thank you, Rachel. Appreciate it.
Perfect. And Sydney,
We're good on this one too.
great. Well, again, Allison, thank you so much for being here today. And if we've got folks that need to follow up with you, we'll handle that offline.
Great, thank you. We're excited to be
Thank
doing
you.
these. Thank you.
And next up, another really fun event, the BFF Block Party for Idaho Gives. Welcome, Kylie. You may need to just escape out of that and then, yeah, and then if you go and hover over the PowerPoint at the bottom, you should be able to pull. Yep, there you go. No, it's a tricky room to navigate.
Yeah, no, you're good. Is the
And maybe just go up to slideshow at the top. And then from beginning.
that there? Okay, I just
Perfect.
went to the eye doctor today too. Okay. My name's Kylie Boland. I am from representing Lost Grove Brewing and also on the board for the Les District Neighborhood Association. So we are planning on bringing back the BFF Block Party for Idaho Gives. We held it in 2018 and 2019 and obviously had to take a break for obvious reasons. So hoping to bring it back this year. But the BFF Block Party is held on Idaho Gives Day every year. So it's a day focused for online giving for Idaho nonprofits. We wanted to create kind of a celebration and a more tangible in-person event to celebrate these nonprofits. So that's where the Block Party came about. 2018, we had 25 nonprofits participate, and in 2019, we had 50. So we're hoping for that 50 number again this year. By doubling the amount of nonprofits, we did have to double the footprint. So we closed down LaPointe Street in between Island and Royal, and then round the corner to Les Street in between, Island. I wrote that wrong. It should be, and we closed down Island Ave in between LaPointe and Lusk. We plan on having it, like I said, 50 nonprofits, a couple food trucks, and one outside bar setup. In 2019, we estimated 800 people. Since it hasn't happened for 2 years, with COVID, we're kind of keeping around the same amount, but did just increase it a little bit because we did have a good turnout in 2019. Lost Grove, like I said, Lost Grove Brewing and Les District. I think that covered all of that. So like I said, the location is on LaPointe and Island Avenue. I have kind of more details on closures there. And just threw the traffic control plan in there that we used. Well, this is a new updated one, but it looked the same as 2019. So with security, we hire professional security. So we always have at least 5 from Absolute Security of Idaho. In addition to help with COVID-19 vaccine or vaccination card checks, we also are hiring 4 security from the Morrison Center that have a lot of experience checking vaccination cards and tests. In addition, we'll also have at least 6 Lost Grove staff that aren't bartenders in the tap room, roaming and helping check IDs. And then since we do have 2 restaurants in addition to Lost Grove with alcohol licenses, we set volunteers at those entrances and exits to make sure that no outside alcohol goes into those restaurants and no alcohol from the restaurants goes out. So it will be Lost Grove Brewing pulling the alcohol catering permit. We will be wristbanding everybody. And once I get to the map, I can show you where we're thinking for the bar. And we will have the whole service area fenced off. If it's not by walls that are already existing, it will be with chain link fencing and orange temporary fencing that's at least 3 foot high. So this is the event footprint. You'll notice the main entrances are going to be on Royal and LaPointe and then Island and Lusk. We do have the alley that runs behind those businesses, and that we keep open and clear. The fence that's on the, I guess, north side of Island is either, I talked to Porta Pros and can talk to fire department and police on what you think would be best there, but they talked about just having a big gated fence that we could easily open. In the past, we just used barricades that we could easily lift in case there was an emergency, or we can just leave a gap in that fencing. Regardless, we would have a volunteer station there to monitor alcohol and be able to easily open or move barricades in case of an emergency. Then there's also the gap you'll notice in between Lost Groves parking lot and the architect office. It's a very narrow driveway, but cars do fit. So we leave that clear with another temporary fencing or something easily movable in that gap. And then the last part we leave open too is there is a fire lane that runs along the apartments on La Pointe, so across the street from Lost Grove. And you'll notice that the fence kind of does an L there. We leave 20 feet from the sidewalk up into the end of that fire lane just open. So there's a chain link fence that runs 20 feet out from it, if that makes sense. So there's no nonprofit booths, no cars, nothing. That lane is just left wide open. We felt like that was easiest rather than trying to put booths there in case of an emergency. Wanted to make sure that all of that. So there's easy access to the middle of the footprint there. The stage is on the corner of La Pointe and Island that you'll notice in that southwest corner. And then we put the bar nearby there as well. And then we have the nonprofit booths kind of lined all along La Pointe and then towards the entrance on Island. I kind of covered this a little bit, but all alley entrances and exits will have easily removable barriers, if barriers at all. And we will have volunteers put at those places in case an ambulance or fire truck needs entry. Again, we'll leave that fire zone completely open from Royal all the way down to where the fire zone ends. We do in the past have had medical professionals on site just to be kind of first aid providers. They are just volunteers and people we know that work, that are nurses, doctors. But we also make sure everybody has the Pulse Point app downloaded. That's all the Lost Grove team and all the medical provider volunteers. We also have first aid stations at the main info booths, which one is located at each main entrance and exit. We also excitingly are getting a free AED next week from an event we're putting on. So we'll also have an AED on site. For our COVID plan, so we will obviously follow all current city COVID-19 requirements since we are expecting more than 250 people. We will be checking vaccination cards, negative COVID tests. And again, the Morrison Center security will have at least 2 people at each entrance and exit doing that. At the nonprofit booth areas, since they are kind of grouped together, it actually works that we could create a good flow, like a one direction that they go to look at, or would people visit the nonprofit booths, which I have a map showing next to. We will also have sanitation stations at each entrance and exits near the food and bar area. Bathrooms will have hand washing and sanitization stations. And we'll just have a bunch spread out throughout the entire event. We will also encourage everybody to wear masks and have signage, and also have masks at the main entrances and exits. And then we'll have a couple extra volunteers roaming the event to help enforce all of our COVID-19 requirements. And then we also will increase more space in between the nonprofit booths. In the past, it's been a mix of 10 by 10 tents, and then some nonprofits don't have tents. And so we've always mixed and matched them. So we're not putting a bunch of tents all grouped together. And so we will keep them like a couple of feet. We'll increase that space instead of putting them right next to each other, put them at least 3 to 4 feet apart so that they're guaranteed a 10 by 10 space, but we'll space those out between 3 to 4 feet so they can still all keep 6 feet of distance between each other. So this is kind of the idea for the flow of traffic that will have arrows. So with that big group of nonprofit booths on Island, We will just you move in a circle to visit them all. And then with all the ones on the point, as the arrows can see, you'll head north and then turn around and head south for the ones on the opposite side of the street. I actually really like this plan, regardless of COVID. It just seems like it would help flow the whole event better too. With our accessibility plan, we will have volunteers at each info booth to help assist any disabled individuals if needed. We also will have designated disabled parking. We are thinking we could hopefully, as long as it's good with ACHD and fire, have a couple spaces behind the stage where we'll be blocking off and nobody would be parking anyway. We also have alley parking spaces at Lost Grove that we would be happy to reserve for ADA. All event entrances and exits are accessible. There's no stairs. There's actually no sidewalks in the event footprint either. We put all the fencing on the actual street and not the sidewalks. And then we will have 2 ADA compliant portable restrooms in addition to all the bars and restaurants on the street that have ADA accessible restrooms as well. With trash and recycling, we plan on renting 6 trash and recycling boxes. I will be honest, we still have some from last summer, so we just plan on using those again, but I can return them after. And we will also schedule an extra trash pickup. With all of our events, we have been trying really hard. We're debating too with this one to maybe switch to a bring your own cup total model. We do incentivize people to, they get $1 off or an extra beer token if they bring their own cup. But if not, we always still try to buy the most eco-friendly plastic cups. We hate plastic cups, but also it's kind of hard sometimes with events. So we're still kind of determining if we will say, it's a bring your own cup or you have to buy a cup from us, or if we'll offer plastic, but we will offer some incentive for people that bring their own. And then we will have designated volunteers to help manage trash, to kind of sort through recycling and then dump any filled garbages and cans so there's no overflow. We also do a great job cleaning up after the event and do a good sweep. With entertainment, so the Morrison Center is an in-kind sponsor. We are using the same stage we used for the neighborhood concert series last summer. So it is 16 by 8 in total size, and its platform's just about maybe a foot off the ground. There is no big tent, but they do have poles that they tie a couple shade sails on. And then also with the nonprofit booths, like I mentioned, a lot of them bring 10 by 10 tents. We always make sure that they're weighted down. We also space them. In the survey I send to them, I ask if they have a tent or not. The weather has always been perfect and it will be again this year. But so we space it where there's like 2 tents next to each other and then no tent. And then, so we make sure that we don't ever put multiple tents in a group. And then, so we got it voted on by the West District Neighborhood Association last month on January 8th. And then we will also send out notifications to all the apartment complexes and businesses in the area. We will also send electronic notifications to the apartment property managers so that they can email it to all their attendants. And that. With vendors, we're still working on it since it is a ways out, but these are the ones we have confirmed so far, but I will get license numbers and permits where they need to go. And I think that's it. Oh, and then I was going to touch on, I didn't have a slide about parking. Parking in the West District is like the vein of our existence, but we have talked to, since I mentioned the Morrison Center is an in-kind sponsor. They're going to work with Boise State in getting the health sciences building parking lot that's on Royal available for us, where we'll at least offer that to all vendors, nonprofits, which would be a huge amount of parking. And then also going to work with BBP on who they talked to about the lot they used for the kids' bike giveaway. So we are working on getting those 2 lots open. And then thirdly, we don't ever advertise the Morrison Center and Morrison Park parking. But that would technically be our third option before, after any street parking available. But we are working on getting those 2 lots. In the past, in 2018, we were able to get the dirt lot where the Count building used to be on Royal. But I know that building's getting torn down soon and apartments are getting built. So I don't know if anybody knows too on what construction in that area will look like. So I'm a little nervous about what that is, because that dirt lot and all of that will be under construction, I think, around that time. So that's something we would like to, talk about more too, that I realize could potentially be an issue. But what questions?
Thank you, Kylie, for a really, really good presentation. I feel like we've had the gold standard of presentations today, which is awesome. Just a couple things to note, and then we'll go around the room. One, your COVID protocols look great. One thing to note with folks that are checking vaccination status is that maybe do some training with folks ahead of time on what the CDC at that time is considering up to date. I mean, right now it's this like complicated formula of, boosters for some, if within a certain period of time. So maybe as you're also doing advertising, just make sure that you're using that up-to-date vaccination language.
Absolutely.
And then making sure that you're training folks ahead of that time. And then the other thing on cups is maybe connect with Treefort. They've got like their cup rental that they use during Treefort. And I think they've talked a little bit about potentially making that available to other events to do some sort of like cup rental. So that might be an option that's different from using even eco-friendly plastic, right? So we've just been chatting about that at different events, because I know that that's been really useful for them. And I know that we've got tons of community partners that are excited to not have to use plastic cups at these events kind of going forward.
Yeah, no, it's funny you mentioned, because I just met with David Broderick yesterday, who does their Treefort's green team. And he mentioned that too for a different event, and I wasn't even thinking about for this event. So that's good.
Yeah, I don't know that they've been getting it very far and wide, but when they told us that, I was like, my ears kind of perked up a little bit. And I'm like channeling my inner Ed Graves, right? About like the waste reduction. I can say that since he's not here today. All right. Natasha.
Hi, Kylie. Natasha with Central District Health. So we have your initial identification of events. So thank you so much for that. So, and when you finalize your vendor list, please get us to us. And we still have some flexibility, of course, time-wise. I would also recommend, and it pertains to your COVID protocols, since you anticipate such a large number of nonprofits to participate in your event, just ensure that everyone also is aware of your protocols, whatever they may look like in May.
Okay. Absolutely. Yeah, I will put it on all of our marketing stuff, I want to make sure everybody knows.
There are a couple of parking spots over on the south side of the street where you're going to be blocking off, and it's by a BSU shop. But as long as those guys are notified and they know that you guys are going to be there on that particular day, I think everything is going to be fine as far as parking goes. Sometimes when it's regulated parking, people get a little bit excited about, seeing it blocked off. But since you're going to have so much activity in that area, I don't think it's going to be a concern. It's such a small area too, that I don't think it's going to generate any complaints. So I think we'll be fine. Just make sure that BSU shop knows what you guys are going to be doing.
Yeah, that's the one on the corner of Island and
yep.
And they have the golf carts always going in and out. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Kylie, thank you. Great presentation. And also it's awesome that you're thinking about waste reduction and ways to improve the amount of waste generated. So thank you for that. And you're always welcome to reach out to myself or Ed Graves if you need help with other ideas or yes or no questions, just general advice, please let us know. I was going to say, David Broderick, it sounds like you've already been introduced, so that's fantastic. I saw in your application Lost Grove would plan to order an extra trash service dump. The regular service day is on Tuesday. So this is
Oh,
a
that
Thursday,
actually would be-
Thursday
okay.
event, right?
Yep.
Okay, so if you want an empty dumpster, you would probably schedule that either to be dumped Thursday or Friday. But you'd want to call us the day before you need service.
Okay.
So
Yeah, probably
I
that
just
Friday
recommend
makes sense.
an extra pickup either probably on Friday after
Yeah.
your event. Yeah.
'Cause I don't think we'd fill it up by, yeah. that would be good.
But yeah, just let myself or Ed know if you have any questions.
Cool, thank you.
But yeah, I'm good. Thanks.
Hi, Kylie. You guys put on such fun events and I have nothing for this one, but I do want to touch base with your neighborhood concert series. So we'll talk soon. Okay.
Hi, Kylie. I'm Heather with the DBA, and I think I'm good. Just if you want to send me a copy of that letter, maybe that you're sending out to the neighbors, that'd be great. On the off chance that someone asks me about it, but I think looks like you have it covered pretty well.
Cool.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Kylie. A few things from a fire prevention standpoint here. First of all, it's going to require a separate special events permit through the fire department. I think you guys are already aware of that. So make sure you take care of that. Make sure your food trucks that are on site have their fire department inspection, and I can send you more information on that if
Yeah,
you'd like
I was
as
gonna
well.
have that too, yep.
Okay. I do have some questions about the chain link fencing that you mentioned and the is this blue or purple border that you've given for the alcohol service area.
Yeah.
That's not all chain link fencing, is it, that blue?
No,
Okay.
the only chain link fencing is gonna be at that blocking off that fire lane. And then there will be at the entrances and exits, like to kind of reduce it, or if you'd rather, we can just use orange fencing on that.
Okay. How tall, what kind of chain link fencing? Is it tall? Is it short?
It's from Porta Pros, and I think it's just the normal height chain link fencing. So not higher than 3 feet for sure.
I think we can work with this footprint, and Chief Detman can comment more on this if he'd like. But what we're trying to get is a 20-foot fire. Our goal is a 20-foot fire lane all the way through. I mean, we can block things off for traffic, and then if we can move things in an emergency and keep a fire lane all the way through, that's the goal.
Okay.
And as far as the stage area goes, I think I'm okay with the stage blocking that area off over there because we have access to that multifamily dwelling over there. So we've got college housing right there. So that's why we're concerned about the fire lane with all the high life hazard there. And we want access, as much access as we can possibly get. But if we can maintain a 20-foot fire lane all the way through, maybe make some adjustments so we don't have to move tents and vendors out of the way in an emergency, like right there, just next to the chain link fencing that you have there on the map. There's a bunch of vendors right there.
We could just move them.
Maybe come up with an alternate plan for that. And Chief Detman, do you have anything to add to that in terms of fire access?
Yeah, Jesse, you hit the nail on the head. The real big thing is the age of the occupancies down there, and then the type with the multifamily dwellings and things like that. This is a unique neighborhood. I'm glad to see we're putting in some community events down there. But like Captain Tappert alluded to, that access is going to be essential for us. So if you can work with us maintaining that fire lane, that would be great.
And then just to confirm, it's just all the way down La Pointe is not having a fire lane like on Island. Okay, if you can access it from La Pointe.
Yeah, that's okay because like I said, Chief Detman said, we're mainly concerned about the multi-story residential.
Okay.
The other facilities, I mean, it is a concern, but I think there's multiple ways to access those other areas. So I'm not as concerned about that. But that's pretty much what I have. It's just the fire access. If we can make minor adjustments, and I'll call you again and we'll work through it together. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Hi, Kylie. I think you answered all the questions about the alcohol service. Your plan looks great. So appreciate all the considerations going in there. So nothing else from BPD.
Thank you.
Thank you. So with just some of the questions on the footprint, I'm going to go ahead and ask that we put together a safety and security meeting and bring together police, fire, and medics, just so that we can kind of look through that ingress and egress and make sure that you have what you need, we have what we need, and then we can figure out that any changes that need to happen in person. And by that, I mean a discussion rather than emails, because sometimes we get lost in that. So I'll reach out and schedule that meeting, and then we can work through the ingress, egress, the actual fencing and what that's going to look like, the resources on site, and then how we would respond if we need to.
Yeah. Would you be willing to do that on site too, so we can walk through?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
perfect.
Would love to
Awesome.
come down and do that. Cool. Thank you.
Thanks, Kylie. Nice to hear from you again. I don't have any particular questions or anything. Like everyone said, very thorough application presentation. You've been in touch and I appreciate that communication. So if anything does change with the protocols between now and May, we'll definitely keep you updated one way or another. But otherwise, I'll see you with Rachel's team for the safety and security meetings.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Debbie, ACHD.
Hi, Kylie. This is Debbie. I just wanted, I got your traffic control plan. I've been reviewing it a little bit. There's a couple of added signage. My biggest concern is the pedestrians. I want to make sure that we're not going to put anything on the sidewalk or blocking the crossings. And if we do, we're going to have a traffic control plan for them as well.
Okay. I'm trying to think, like, if you're looking at where the stage area is on the corner, but if we move the fence out 20 feet, then that might be fine. I'll look at it in more detail and talk with you.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that, we're not going to block any pedestrian ramps, or crosswalks and the sidewalk itself. Otherwise, we got to have a pedestrian plan.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
And Jonas, anything else on your end?
No, not at this point. It sounds like we're going to set up a separate security meeting and we'll address any issues that we have there. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. And Sydney.
We're good. Thank you.
Great. Kylie, thank you so much. Really glad to see this event coming back. I know it's a nice capstone to that day.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, we have 3 events that are pending approvals, and it looks like they're pending approvals from almost everyone. They're fairly, we have a little bit of time out from them, but what I'd like to do is maybe just do a quick round robin to hear if anybody needs anything on either the Big Sky Block Party, Tree Fort, or the Boise Brewing Tree Fort Street Party. So let's start with Central District Health and just anything in particular, or if you're just still in process.
We're missing information for all 3.
Okay, that's great.
So we're set on all of these 3. We're just waiting for payment on from Tree Fort, and I think after that we're set to go.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Maria. Out of the 3, only Tree Fort Music Festival, and it's not a big issue. We haven't seen event rents order services yet. There's still plenty of time and they always come through. So I'm not worried, but just not ready to sign off.
Thank you.
We are only waiting for Tree Fort and it's just part of the process. So
great.
We're still waiting for permits to be applied on all 3 of them, but they're usually pretty good. So I anticipate those are going to be in shortly. Other than that, we don't need anything.
DBA, I am still waiting to hear about the neighborhood notification plan from both the Big Sky and Boise Brewing, but we've got some time there, I think. I've been in touch with both of them, so I'm sure they're coming.
Okay, great.
And we're still waiting to hear from Tree Fort on the staffing plans. So we sent it out to them, just waiting.
As for Tree Fort, we do have the safety and security meeting with them, I believe this afternoon. So we should be able to work through a lot of that and be able to sign off here very soon. For the Big Sky Block Party, the only part that I was waiting on is we had discussed that footprint and what that was going to look like for the alcohol containment. And I hadn't seen any updated information. So I'll wait for PD and see what information you guys get, and then I can go ahead and sign off on that. Thank you.
Thank you. If I can be of assistance with any of that, please let me know, but I will be in the meeting this afternoon with Tree Fort. So if there's any takeaway items that I can assist with, and then still working with Big Sky. So I'm happy to help with that too, if needed.
Great. Debbie.
So Big Sky, it's outside of our right of way, so we're not requiring anything on that. The Tree Fort Music Fest, I have not received the special event permit for Ada County Highway District or the traffic control plan yet, so we will need that. And the Boise Brewing Tree Fort Street Party, I've got everything I need, and the traffic control plan has been approved by us.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
We've heard, I think, from Boise Fire, so Sydney.
We're just waiting on insurance from Tree Fort. I've reached out to them this morning, and the other two I was able to sign off on this morning as well.
Great, thank you. And then just one last kind of item that we added under calendar review is the Bogus Marathon, which they were in front of us. The event isn't actually until May, but wanted to just check in. I think we had asked the event organizers to check in with different agencies on the bits and pieces, and have been wondering if anybody's been having conversations or have heard from them.
And just to reiterate, they will be presenting next month. Their event is in May, but because of some of the issues and stuff we had last year, we were really trying to work with them to fine tune the details. So they were advised to reach out to everybody ahead of time, especially like on the traffic control plan, the medical services, neighborhood notifications and things of that sort. So if you have been in touch and you're good, that's great. If there needs to be some connections made that I can assist with, and Rachel, as she is putting all those pieces together, please let us know as soon as possible. That is a big race, goes through multiple jurisdictions, and we just want to make sure that the baton is passed on efficiently for everybody's sake. So happy to help out with there too.
Thanks, Kelly. Maybe we can just reach out to them one more time in advance of their presentation. It'd be nice to have those ducks in a row before they're in front of the committee. All right. Anything else for the good of the order before we sign off for the day?
Maria, this is John Wasson.
Hello, John.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you? I did not realize you'd been lurking in the background.
Yes, I'm in a dark room in an undisclosed location. With the Boise Marathon, I have advised them of all the people that they need to contact in Boise County and Ada County. And so if they have an excuse, the maximum effective range of that excuse is 0.00 meters.
Excellent. Could you be a little bit more specific?
0.000 meters.
Excellent.
No, I mean, I've given them emails and phone numbers for Boise County officials and Ada County folks that they need to contact. So if they don't do that, that is 100% on them. And I think that if they don't do that, we should not entertain their event.
Noted.
The other thing, and I mentioned this to Rachel yesterday, Old Penitentiary Road is now ACHD right-of-way, which means that any events that take place in Outlaw Field and require traffic control onto Old Penn, while they haven't had to do traffic control in the past, they will have to do traffic control starting this year. And then finally, I believe it was BSU, I saw in the newspaper yesterday, is going to have allegedly a pretty significant concert in June or July on property. So we may want to reach out to Boise State and find out what all that is going to involve. If it's going to be football sized event or basketball sized event, or who really cares sized event.
Great. Thank you, John. We've got those things noted and we'll follow up on them.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I had my eyes dilated today, so they're still a little sensitive.
Oh, no worries. It's just, it's like, it's always the most fun part of the meeting to see how John Watson's going to show up. I'm going to start making like a bingo game out of it or something, John.
I'm definitely not going to pop out of Ed Graves' mind.
That's fair. All right. Thanks, everyone. And we'll see you in a couple weeks. Many of you this afternoon at the Tree Fort Safety and Security meeting.